Welcome to Boleyn Paranormal on the radio. Prepare yourselves for discussions about the unknown, ghosts, UFOs, myths, and more. Tonight from Great Britain, here are your hosts, Helena and Alex.
Hi guys, welcome to Boleyn Paranormal Radio. Tonight on the show we have Jeff Waldridge back with us, and we are going to be talking about the Mandela Effect, which is a conspiracy theory that
messes your brain up.
Yeah, basically, long story short, we all have memories of things in the past that have happened but didn't actually happen. I don't know.
I can almost promise you, after people listen to this, they're going to be so confused.
Oh, definitely.
Because I ruined your brain by introducing you to the Mandela Effect, didn't I?
Yeah, you said Mandela Effect, and I started looking it up, and I was like, I hate you for this.
Yeah.
Then you start noticing things, and you're like, was it like that before, or is this new?
I ruined your brain by saying Mandela Effect.
Yeah. Basically, the Mandela Effect is a false memory conspiracy.
Yeah.
So we all remember things differently to how they actually were. We'll mention some of them on our show tonight, and we'll try and come up with a reason for it. So yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that, because I still don't know that there's a reason for it.
No.
So I've ruined him. And this is the first show because we're doing every second Friday of the month. Jeff's co-hosting with us on conspiracy theories, so this is our first show of that, which is pretty cool. So
it's going to be a wild time.
It is. So
Jeff, you get to choose the next one.
Yeah, you do.
Next conspiracy.
Okay. Great. Hopefully one that won't kill my mind.
I'm really sorry I broke your mind.
Yeah, I mean, guys that listen to this, you're going to be like, right, on Google,
I'm
looking everything
serious.
up.
This should have a disclaimer that this will likely ruin your mind.
It will.
Because people are going to start looking at it, and they're going to be like, oh, was that the way that it was? Or was it this way? Or was it... What was going on here?
But then there's going to be some of you people listening that you're going to be like, no, that's bullshit. It's always been that way. What are they talking about?
Yeah.
But
I think really what the Mandela Effect comes around to is people just forget, or they don't pay attention. But there are some parts that are very weird.
Or it can start off with like they portray it a certain way in a film, for example. Like well, let's talk. I mean, let's talk about one of the Mandela effects that I know pisses you off, babe.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Monopoly Man.
Yeah.
Now, one of the biggest Mandela effects is whether or not the Monopoly Man has a monocle.
There's no whether or not about it.
The thing is, I never paid enough attention to the box with his face on it, like the Monopoly box. I never paid that much attention to whether he had a monocle or not, and I assumed he had a monocle because of his portrayal in films.
Jeff, in your head,
So
does he have a monocle?
Does he have a monocle or does he not?
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He does not.
Well, I thought he did, but apparently he doesn't. Sorry?
See, I kind of remember him having one.
Yeah.
Because he did have one.
That's strange.
But I mean,
I can't. It is the one out of the lot of them that just does my head in, because I know he had a monocle, and if he didn't, then my brain's completely lost the monocle from somewhere. Where's that come from?
I mean, you've got people dressing up for him, like for costume parties, and they put a monocle on.
Because he had a bloody monocle on.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't he have a monocle? You know what I'm saying? I mean, from the era that he was supposedly based in.
He looks like he should have a monocle if he doesn't.
It, so...
I thought he had a monocle.
I wonder if people don't get confused because isn't there something on the board where the person has a monocle but it's not exactly him?
No, that's what I thought, but no, there isn't.
Oh, God, I don't know. See, we've already started down a bad path.
But why do we all think that he has a monocle if he hasn't?
He had a monocle on and somebody stole it.
I mean, does our brain just instantly assume that he should have one?
See, here's the thing, though. Why in God's name would anybody do that to us?
It's aliens.
And supposedly, according to some of the theories, there's somebody out there that's changing all of this. Like a person that has no idea that they're doing it.
Like a time traveller.
They're changing it just to piss us off.
It's like, because I thought he had a monocle because of Ace Ventura, when nature calls. There's this scene where he knocks this guy out who he thinks looks like Monopoly Man, and then he makes him talk. He says, "Do not pass go. Do not collect $200." And he has a monocle on. So that's why I thought he had a monocle.
He had a monocle on.
Well, I think that's how people get confused.
I don't know why. I don't know what's going on in this world. I don't know who's changed it. I don't know what's happening, but he had a monocle on. Because
here's the thing, and then there's other things that are just, kind of silly, and it's little things, but it shouldn't, it shouldn't be there. Let's all go back to the way the Mandela Effect even started.
Yeah.
And it's because some people remembered Nelson Mandela dying in prison, right? Or in jail? Or assassinated, wasn't that it?
He died. Apparently, like people remember him dying in prison, and people remember his funeral and stuff back in the early 90s or whenever it was.
Yeah, and when he died in
2013,
people were confused as hell because they thought he was already dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's so strange. And that's how it got its name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually a lady that was somehow associated with Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia, that kind of helped give it its name. And it was because of that. And then it's just kind of progressed ever since then.
Yeah, I mean, it's something on the internet that's really trending at the moment as well.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
So I mean, now it's a whole thing. There's a whole issue with, is this what logos and events. Like people remember the big famous minister in America, Billy Graham, dying and seeing his funeral, but he's not dead. So I mean, it's weird.
It's
like the Chick-fil-A logo.
I was going to say Chick-fil-A. Yeah, we don't get Chick-fil-A over here. We get Nando's, but
missing out.
It's like Kit Kat. Kit Kat had a dash in it. I don't know where the dash has gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so strange as to why that why this would even matter? You know, is somebody just toying with us, or is this reality?
But it's stupid little things as
we
well,
have
isn't
some
it?
kind of alternate reality?
Well, that's another theory, is that we've been sort of going in and out of parallel universes without even realising it, or something like that. Like we sort of seep through the cracks every now and then.
Yeah, and you know, that's, you know, I've talked to some people and they've talked about how sometimes in the world that you'll see little glitches if you pay attention.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, well, is this reality? Or are we in some kind of weird virtual world? And some scientists even believe that we are. And that's the weird part.
It's like we're in the Matrix.
These are scientists, and they believe that they're in some kind of virtual world.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
strange.
That's strange. But
That is like that just blew my mind.
So I mean, if we are in some kind of virtual world, then it would be so freaking complex because of pain and emotion and all this other stuff that we're able to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
I mean, talking about glitches, I mean, there's videos on YouTube of people filming like commercial aircraft, and then they suddenly stop for like 2 or 3 seconds in the air and then carry on going.
Yeah.
That's an example of like weird glitches that people notice.
Yeah, like I've actually seen like footage of these planes just stopping in midair, and I'm like, well, no, planes don't stop. That's not what they do.
And you know, I guess the only way you could really validate it is if you saw it yourself. Because if you don't see it yourself, then how do you know it's real?
But the thing is, me and you, we've heard planes like over our house, and there has been no planes.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll be honest. When I've heard aircraft that's not actually there, I've usually put it down to it being paranormal.
I mean, my mum's seen planes that have made no noise.
Because I mean, we're sort of stuck in the we're stuck in the middle of like 5 World War II airfields, and I just assumed it might be, you know, something to do with that spiritually. I can't think.
Yeah,
of I can't think of the word.
And then I guess you could almost explain everything with the Mandela Effect, or a virtual world. Is you could almost explain ghosts. You could almost explain anything. Who knows?
I think that was. I think that was in the actual Matrix films. They said if you've ever seen a ghost or something not right, then that's where a program has gone wrong and has rebelled against the software or something. I think that was in one of them.
It's because you have 2 different realities mixing together. You have one person here, and then maybe in their scheme of things, they're supposed to be there, but then in yours, they're not. It's odd.
Okay.
And then if we're in a virtual, reality, then how do we explain history? You know, it's kind of strange.
It's like, okay, do you remember the Berenstain Bears, or the Berenstain Bears?
What was it?
The Berenstain Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Berenstain Bears or Berenstain Bears?
I thought it was the one that people remember.
Berenstain.
What was it?
Yeah.
See, I never paid enough attention to it. I read the books when I was younger, but I never really paid attention to it.
Well, I never read the books. I think they're an American thing again, but it's a really popular Mandela Effect.
See, I've heard of them.
I've heard of them. Whenever I've heard of them, I've always heard Berenstain, but apparently they are actually called the Berenstain Bears, which makes sense considering the writers are, I mean, I don't know their first names, but their second name is actually Berenstain.
So I mean, it would make perfect sense. But I think a lot of times with the Mandela Effect, what gets some people is they remember things differently, or they didn't pay enough attention to it.
Yeah.
And I think that they're like, well, I think it was this, or I think it was that, or maybe it was this, or maybe it was that.
I mean,
and I guess if you don't point it out to somebody, then they don't really pay attention to it. And I think that's where some of it comes about. But the Mandela Effect, I never really, as far as Nelson Mandela goes, that never really even crossed my mind. I mean, I never was. But if you look, there's actually and I tried to pull the book, but you could actually look at it on Google Books, and it is a document about how he died.
Yeah, there's a document saying he died in 91 or something.
Right. So, I mean,
which is
good
just
Lord.
confusing enough as it is.
I mean, my personal favourite Mandela Effect is the special line from Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back,
Right.
where Darth Vader tells Luke that he's his father.
Yep.
Because everyone thinks the line is, Luke, I am your father, when he actually says, no, I am your father.
Which, I mean,
and I think it's quite explainable.
Explanatory.
Explanatory, that's the word.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Explainable.
I mean, when you look at it, honestly, if you look at the dialogue of the movie, it makes more sense with him saying, no, I'm your father.
Mm.
Because, they're talking about the father-ho incident, the whole situation.
Yeah. I think where Luke, I am your father, came into it was purely down to merchandising and things like that.
Yeah, and I think people just saying that,
yeah.
people.
Because I mean, it wouldn't make sense to just walk around going, "No, I am your father," because
right.
it just wouldn't make sense. If you say Luke, I am your father, then you should immediately think Star Wars.
Yeah, it makes 400 more billions worth of sense if you did it that way.
And I think it's purely down to like merchandising. Like people will walk around with T-shirts with it written on, as an example, and it would just make more sense to actually it be Luke, I am your father, because then people will immediately connect it to that.
That's what I think about that. And I mean, there's others. There's tons that you can look up and read about.
Oh, there are lots.
And when you look at them, you're just like, well, I don't know, or maybe I remember this, or maybe I remember that. I mean, it is quite weird sometimes.
They all do my head in.
Especially when you believe the lie.
Are we living in a virtual world? Are we living in some kind of created world? And if so, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, or there's a lot of things that, God, it would be so complex, and who created this world? And I mean, there's theories on that as well.
Yeah.
I was listening to a couple of radio shows on it just to kind of get familiar with, more familiar with it. And there were some people that claimed that they were involved, but think about it. Think of the intelligence that would need to be involved in order for that person, or a single person, to live in their own virtual world. Yeah.
I mean...
So, if we are living in a virtual world, are we plugged in like the Matrix? Are people plugged in somehow?
I'd like to be plugged into a better life, please. I want money, and...
Definitely.
Oh, exactly, and then on the other hand, can we create our own, destinies and our own realities? Can we alter things? Because there's several things out there. There's people like attracts like, and people can kind of things like that. The laws of attraction. Is that the actual laws of attraction, or is it that we're in a virtual world and we can alter things? So, it could go on forever.
Like, why do some people get through life so easily and some people struggle every day?
Yeah, but if we are in a virtual world, why would they need to struggle? Why would depression exist? Why would terminal illness exist?
So you don't cotton on to it, the fact that it's a virtual world, so that people don't realise that everything's perfect all the time.
But if everything was perfect all the time, why would we need to question the nature of our reality?
That's true. Would there have to be programming wrote in where somebody would need to be sick, or somebody would need to die, or something like that? It would have to. That's what I'm saying. It would have to be so intricately programmed that it's almost impossible to me.
I've got a Mandela Effect here that I can connect to ghost hunting. It's quite a stretch, but
go for it.
Right, because I'm looking at a list of Mandela Effects. One of them is that people never actually remember the Ghost Hunters TV show being called that. People thought that the earlier shows, like the first season or whatever, was actually called Taps.
I thought it was called Taps.
And not actually Ghost Hunters.
No, it was always Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, I've known that, but Taps is a name.
The team?
Taps is the name of the organisation, and obviously that's why I said it's a bit of a far stretch.
But that's because Taps. When I think Ghost Hunters, I don't think Ghost Hunters. I think Taps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is, and I think the big thing with that is they promoted Taps more when it first came out.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? They all had shirts, they all had this, they all had that, and it was more. Seemed like to me they pushed the name of the team more than they do, in the further episodes. But
I've got another good Mandela Effect, and this one fooled me. Jeff, what do you know about the Lindenberg baby?
The Lindenberg baby was kidnapped, and they actually found it on the side of a road.
Yeah, well, a lot of people remember it as the baby was never found at all. Okay,
Really?
yes, the poor thing was found dead, but
it was found on the side of a road.
Yeah.
They found it.
But people,
and then they really don't know what happened. There's theories, but they really still don't know exactly.
But a lot of people remember the baby going missing, but they never actually remember the body being found. They just assume it was gone forever.
I always remember the body being found.
It was a boy. It was a little boy.
What
was his name?
So he was always found, that I remember. And I think that sometimes people leave it just to reading things on the internet, or they don't do a lot of research on it. That could be where some of this comes in. But some historical events, they haven't changed as far as I know. And that's the thing. If we could change historical events, why wouldn't we change more? Or why wouldn't they change more?
I think Hollywood is a big reason for us having different memories of history, because there's been so many historical Hollywood films that are only about half right. Off the top of my head, Braveheart as an example, William Wallace wasn't the size of Mel Gibson. He was 7 foot.
Right.
And his sword was roughly the same height as Mel Gibson.
Yeah, and you also got to look at other events. They recreate historical events, but they don't recreate them exactly accurate.
Yeah.
So then people watch the movie and they're like, "Oh, well, that must be exactly the way that it is."
Yeah.
And it's not. There's a whole lot of stuff that is missing or not true. Just like the Conjuring film. The Conjuring film it's not accurate. it's close, but it's not accurate. There's
because
there's
the
a
second
whole lot
one.
more that they left out because they couldn't include it. They actually the ratings, the MPAA in America said no, we can't put that in there because it would cause the rating to be too high.
Yeah.
It would be too much.
But it's like the Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
That is so overhyped, overplayed, and over dramatized.
Oh yeah.
The people now think that what the films and programs say actually happened when not even half of that went on.
And then another.
It's crazy. Really.
Another good example is a war film that came out about 4 or 5 years ago, called Red Tails.
I don't think I've seen it.
I can never remember the name of the fighter group, but the film was based around these black men who wanted to play their part in the war, and they managed to become fighter pilots. And in the film, they make it out like they didn't lose one single bomber that they were protecting during their entire time, but that's not actually true. They actually lost. They didn't lose as many, but they did actually lose aircraft. They lost about 20, I think, or something like that in their first.
Well, see, that's
10
where
missions
the
or
film
something.
they want to make it a certain way, and they're like, that don't really work with the story we're trying to tell, so we're gonna have to change it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's another reason why we have different memories of things. At the end of the day, it's just where. Okay, I know I said Hollywood, but generally the film industry just dramatizes things.
So what's other historical things that go along with the Mandela Effect that we've seen?
I'm just trying to think, because I read an article about it, and I cannot remember.
If you really look at it, there's not a ton of historical things. A lot of it centers around little things.
Yeah.
It is mainly little things.
And little bitty things.
It's logos, it's quotes of people, and things that just drive you mad.
I mean, another little thing.
Is it exactly change, or is it misinterpretation?
Yeah,
false memories,
Is it literally people just assuming that it was there?
Right.
And only just starting to pay attention, or maybe a rebrand that nobody noticed.
And that's what you get sometimes with these companies. They'll switch their logo slightly. Now with the Chick-fil-A thing, with it changing that drastically, where you would almost have to rebrand the entire company. I doubt that happened. But I never paid enough attention to the Chick-fil-A logo where I just ate the food. So I mean, but it is one that you look at and you're like, did it change? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's the fact that you'll look these up, and part of you is I don't really pay enough attention to know, but then the other part of you is like, but hang on, and it starts making you overthink things as well,
right?
Which is what drives you.
And then you start overthinking other things, and then you start reading into other things, and you're like, oh, well, was it this or was it that?
Yeah, it just sort of throws you out into a world of you getting confused.
It's like I didn't realise that in Snow White, the evil queen says magic mirror on the wall and not mirror mirror on the wall. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't watched Snow White since I was a kid, so you're talking.
See, here's the thing.
You're talking 20 years ago.
There have been a lot of redos of that movie. There have been a lot of different ways that there's the cartoon, and then there's other versions, and then there's other cartoon versions that are not exactly the Disney version. So, I mean, is it exactly that it's changed, or did somebody get it wrong?
Yeah.
I need to check, because I know, obviously, in the first Shrek film, he has the magic mirror, and I meant to actually look up and actually find out if he says mirror mirror or if he says magic mirror.
Because the films have been remastered.
Right.
And, the remastering, it only takes one person to change the line during the remaster. Because...
And here's the thing with the Disney films, they lock them away. So, I mean, you can't really get to the original that easily unless you have a copy.
Yeah.
But
So, I mean, Disney is very controlling of their products. They'll only release them this amount, and then at that point they've been remastered, so did they change something?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Disney conspiracies out there.
Yeah, we could do a
So,
whole
I mean,
show about
then
Disney
you got to look at
conspiracies.
the point of going back to the virtual world again.
Yeah.
At what extent does it stop?
You go straight back to that. Are we being controlled? How does this end? How does it stop?
And if the world has always been virtual, or what? And then here's where the theories come in. At what point did the world become virtual?
Yeah.
So when did it stop being real, and when did it start being a virtual world?
Has
Yeah.
it ever been real?
That's right.
I mean, did it just start at one point and we had, these memories of, our history programmed into us?
Yeah. I mean, there is another conspiracy type thing that people say that we're an experiment.
Right.
We're like an extraterrestrial experiment.
Well, look at it like this. Look at all the different species that are on Earth.
Yeah.
And look at, what if they're all aliens? And what if they were all brought here as one experiment
Yeah.
to see how we mesh together? Just think about it like this, as humans. And we're not getting into the religious thing, so people don't get into the religious part of this.
Don't start.
Stay away from that.
Yeah.
So, but think about it as humans. Look at all of the different things that we're allergic to. We can't swim in the water without a breathing apparatus. Okay,
Yeah.
we can't go underwater for long periods of time. There are certain gases on Earth that will kill us if we breathe them. We have to have oxygen at all times.
Yeah.
And there's other things. There's like cold weather. We can't be in cold weather without some type of suit or some type of protection. We
Yeah.
can't be in long amounts of heat without some type of protection. We constantly have to drink water, but we can't drink salt water. So look at us. Are we the aliens?
Yeah.
It's kind of strange because there's several things that we are very, like squirrels, for instance. Squirrels can live outside at all times. Now, of course, they live in trees and they kind of create their own trees and things, but there's certain animals that can live at all times outside.
Yeah.
We cannot.
We can't cope with it. It will kill us off. I mean,
Yeah, so
there's
we are very frail species, honestly.
it's like viruses. The human
Yeah.
species contracts more viruses than like any other species. We contract more viruses. I
Yep.
mean, fish don't get cancer.
Yeah,
And
or do they, and we don't catch it?
Yeah, but
And I don't
it's
remember-
Very strange.
I don't remember giving any of our pets my cold. I don't see them sneezing or coughing or anything.
Yeah. And there's
Did
very
I get it
few
or what?
species that will jump, or there's very few viruses that will jump species.
yeah,
And that's very strange. But I mean, are we? And I listened to a very cool interview with a guy that he had wrote a book, and he was talking about how we, how there was a civilization that was on Mars, and they died out, a long time ago. And it was pretty cool to hear that theory. I mean, that's what people don't do enough of. They don't open their minds enough.
yeah. That nobody.
So, I mean,
seems to
they'd hear something, they're like, oh, that's nuts. That can't be real.
Yeah,
So, open your mind more. Think
mean-
about things. What if there was a civilization on Mars and
Yeah.
something happened to them? And what if it was thousands and thousands of years ago?
we're never gonna know. So there's nothing wrong with actually just thinking what if.
Yeah, and I think we get so trapped within our worlds because we don't open our minds enough. We only do what people have been telling you to do for your whole life. So if your parents believe a certain way, they may put that belief onto you, and then you're going to keep going with it.
Yeah,
So open your mind. I'm not saying be an atheist, and I'm not saying be some kind of radical, but open your mind to more things and think, what if this is going on, or what if this happened? And since some people that I talk to, they don't believe in aliens, and I'm like, you honestly believe that Earth is it, that there's no other planet with living life forms on it. And that's where we get into, and they're like, well, people? I'm like, I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about living
Intelligent
bacteria,
living
life forms of some kind on another planet. There's got to be.
Yeah. I mean,
are they going to look like us? Of course not.
no.
Probably not. But they could be something else.
I mean, what I say to people, if like we get onto the alien subject, and they're like, how do you know that their life forms have never come to us? But I always turn around and say to them, we think they're alien to us, but to them, we're alien.
Yeah.
We're the same thing.
And here's the thing, and Stephen Hawking said it best, is, I like listening to some of his stuff and reading some of his stuff, because he talks about how we need to stop trying to communicate with other planets. We need to stop trying to intercept alien signals. Because what if what we intercept, or what if we try to communicate with, is not friendly? Or what if they're far more advanced than we are, and they're looking for a planet to make home?
Yeah.
So, that's one thing he says, don't communicate with them. Because we don't want them here. Although they may already have been here, but the ones that we've encountered, I'm sure, are not hostile, because we would all be enslaved. But, you got to think about it. Some of these other species that may be out there,
they're not
maybe
all
they live on a ship. They don't have a home planet. Maybe they're looking somewhere to scavenge resources, gold and silver and plutonium.
But maybe
all kinds of things.
our planet is, we were talking about how it's quite hostile towards us in terms of disease and things like that. What if it's even worse for alien life?
Right. And they stay away from it.
Exactly, because people talk about seeing aliens, but in a spiritual form, like they're talking to us through another dimension. Are they doing that because if they actually were here, they could be poisoned just from the air that we breathe?
Do you know what I just thought?
So, then you got to think about it. What if the government already knows that aliens exist? Our governments, because, you guys are in another country and I'm in America. So what if our governments already know that they exist and they have to protect us?
Yeah.
Because think about it like this. If aliens came here and we had this big, alien presence came, what if they showed us that we are products of them? It would kill all religion.
Yeah.
And then it would be chaos. Because
there would be chaos,
laws are based on religion.
And
if you really look at it, if you look at the Ten Commandments, most laws are based on those commandments. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not, blah, 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 blah. So, think about it. If aliens came and they're like, we're going to show you that you are products of us. And then people would lose their minds. It would be chaos.
But it's still possible.
It is.
A lot of religious people would lose their minds, but the thing, but you can say, yeah, but okay, your religion is not correct, so to speak, but it's still based on something that made this world, and you've just got it wrong.
Right.
It's these guys. These guys over here with the green big heads.
And then there would be certain people, it would be chaos.
Yeah.
There would be a certain amount of chaos, and I think that in order for the governments to maintain control, that they need a certain level of control. They need a certain level of filter about stuff that they tell us.
Yeah.
There's definitely parts of the world where people would go apeshit over, if aliens told us that.
And you got to think about it like this. President Obama was one of the first presidents to actually admit that there is a presidential assassination list as far as people that are on a list to be assassinated, to be killed.
Yeah.
And, before that was not talked about. But you know that it exists. It has to exist. We have to control who knows certain things. Like spies and things like that. you have to realize maybe we don't want to know everything. Maybe it's not good to know everything. There's certain things that we don't need to know.
We were talking about, like, communicating, like Stephen Hawking saying you don't want to communicate with them in case they're hostile, they could take over the planet, they could wipe us off, yeah? But we've got diseases that have come from nowhere.
Exactly.
We can't find out, so who's to say they're not already starting to pick us off one by one with these diseases?
Yep. And think about it like this: what if? And of course, sometimes I think some of these diseases are man-made.
Yeah.
And these will be future conspiracy theory shows, but there's evidence that AIDS could have been manufactured in a lab.
Yeah.
And released onto the population to control certain things. And we'll talk about that in future shows. So this is kind of an opening door to show people what we're going to get into.
Yeah.
And like Ebola and different things, people are like, well, we found that in a jungle. What if we didn't? What if that's the story? What if it was created, or what if it came here on a meteorite?
Yeah. There's a lot of
possibilities.
There's like theories out there that state, people say, oh, a zombie apocalypse is never going to happen. But how comes many governments across the world that actually have a zombie plan? Because it just takes 2 viruses to mutate, and we're fucked.
And there's in America, we use the zombie apocalypse for scenarios because it's a perfect scenario. And we do this. We test our armies sometimes, and CDC and Red Cross and things. I've actually seen them advertised, where they've done a zombie apocalypse to see how they can control it.
Yeah.
And it's because it's the perfect tragic situation. It's the perfect mass casualty incident. So that's why they do that. And sometimes people read into that too much, and they're like, oh, well, they must be planning for that. Well, yeah, but you got to also think about the zombie apocalypse that's been created through media is the perfect, disaster. So why not plan for the worst?
By zombies, we don't mean the dead are coming back.
And here's the thing, too, that I've been to several survival courses, through work and different things. And one thing that they tell us is plan for the zombie apocalypse because that prepares you for everything else.
Yeah.
So if you have a bag that's prepared, a bug-out bag, as they call them, that's prepared for the zombie apocalypse, then you'll be prepared for every kind of other disaster you could ever think about.
Yeah.
So, I've got a bag ready, but it's also my field bag if I were to go out and look for Bigfoot or whatever, but it's got survival items, and it's just a survival bag. But what that does is it prepares you.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy, really, but you got to think about it like this. Anything could happen at any time.
Yeah.
We don't know. Anything could happen. So, is it better to be prepared or to not be prepared?
Be prepared. I've got a zombie plan.
Yeah, so
I have
the biggest
I have
zombie
a
plan
hatchet,
I would have would be to go to a prison or a jail. That's it. That's where I would go.
Obviously, we can't get guns over here. If there was a zombie apocalypse, we'd be screwed. But I do have a hatchet. I do have a bat, and I've got a big hammer somewhere as well.
My plan for the zombie apocalypse or anything of that nature where I need a lot of weapons is I'm going to go to somebody's house that has a lot of them, and I'm going to take a army like Mad Max army, and I'm going to just take all their stuff.
Original Mad Max or remake Mad Max?
Yeah, so I'm going to create a Mad Max army, so whenever I take over the jail or prison, I'm going to create a Mad Max army. And then I'm going to use that army to rule that area. And then I'm also going to have the weaker prisoners, and I'm going to feed them to the zombies in order to lead the institution. So, it's all about becoming a leader. Because you got to look at The Walking Dead.
See, he knows.
You got to look at The Walking Dead, the way they do things.
He knows, see? In other words, don't worry about it, just kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to survive, that's what you got to do.
Mass chaos. But, this is what we're going to get into with these conspiracy shows. And I know we talked with the Mandela Effect.
The
And we don't
Mandela
wanna
Effect's a
go on
nice
too much
introduction
for an hour,
to it.
because you got to realize people are going to lose their minds if they research that too much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you people, go and research the Mandela Effect and
I feel sorry for them. I really
enjoy
do.
your
It's going to
brain
blow their
being
minds.
ruined. Because I completely ruined Jeff's brain.
Oh God, it was gone. And I listened to it, and I listened to some of the shows. So then I got to thinking. I was like, well, what if I run my car into this tree? will I die? And then I started to think. I was like, okay, well, I've got to stop thinking like this. This is very dangerous.
That means
So I'm
can.
just not going to research it anymore.
That means I can go into the store and rob it, and I'll be all right.
Yeah, and I'll be okay because it's virtual reality.
I've got part of a zombie plan. My zombie plan is to break into the vets up the road and steal all the medication.
There you go.
As soon as something starts happening, I'm down there. I'm smashing through the window. I'm taking all the animal drugs, but they'll work on humans, So
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's another thing that's a scam is the whole medication, the whole pharmaceutical industry.
Oh yeah.
Because they say it's for humans, but you can use animal medication too.
exactly. And I learned that from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But here's another conspiracy we can get into at some point. Are pharmaceutical companies delaying the release of a cure for certain diseases?
Of course they are.
Like cancer.
Yeah, they
Is
are.
there a cure for cancer and we don't know about it because pharmaceutical companies will lose money?
Why do you think they control marijuana so much?
Exactly.
There's been scientific evidence that the oils from cannabis help people with seizures and certain diseases, but yet they will regulate that and they will make it illegal because they don't want that to be controlled. They don't want that to happen.
And the funny
because maybe they're making too much money off these drugs that they sell these people.
And the funny thing is, I don't know which one of us had the drug from the doctor. I think it was you. I don't know, but
Yeah, it was
it
me.
contained an ingredient that actually comes from cannabis.
Huh.
So.
Yeah. I mean, they smelt like weed.
Yeah,
They
they smelt like marijuana and vanilla. It was an
Well,
odd mix.
the most recent thing we had in the States, and I don't know if you had it there, was the whole EpiPen issue.
No, EpiPens over here. If they're for children, then they're free. If they're for an adult, then they're £8.50 each, which is about $14.
But some adults get them for free as well.
Well, see, they skyrocketed the price of EpiPen.
Yeah, I mean they did the same. They did the same thing to AIDS medication, didn't they, over there?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
they
because
put
one
it back
person's
down.
controlling it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said over here, I mean, I'm for medical reasons exempt from paying for prescriptions. But prescriptions over here, it's a set rate, £8 per prescription.
Right.
But like I said, I'm medically exempt, and so is Helena from it, so we don't actually pay.
Right.
But nobody in Scotland pays. If you live in Scotland, then all your prescriptions are free. But it's mental. I mean,
Well, see, here's
so, I mean,
the thing.
you can get a prescription for something.
I take medication, stomach medication. I had an ulcer years ago, so now
Yeah.
I have to stay on stomach medication. Well, it cost about $10 for 30 pills.
Yeah.
With insurance. If I didn't have insurance, it would be way more than that.
Yeah.
So it's all a scam. It's all schemes.
I mean,
It's all scams.
just for fun and out of curiosity, I did a bit of research online to find out how much the medication between me and Helena combined would cost in America. It would cost us, I mean, without insurance, I think £150 a week, $150 a week.
Wow.
I was like, Jesus.
But there are people that come from
But we
Canada,
don't pay anything.
and when they come into America, they get a temporary insurance plan just in case something happens.
Yeah. I mean, if we were going to go to America, we'd make sure we'd have travel insurance that would cost us for medical issues. Because I had a friend who went to America, and if it wasn't for their insurance, they would have had to pay the hospital bill for their grandparent who went with them. And I think it was like $2,000 something. I can't remember what was wrong with her, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we do
And
pay.
that's what we're going to crack into with these conspiracy shows. We're going to get into assassinations. We're going to get into UFOs and aliens.
We're getting into a load of
prescription
stuff.
medication. We're not going to cover the popular ones. We're going to also go under the radar, into the stuff that people don't really know about.
The stuff that people don't really want to talk about.
We could do a presidential special for our next one, as it would be a month after the election, and hopefully people would have calmed down by then.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. And here's another thing. Maybe we'll be put on some kind of weird watch list. I've often joked with people, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I'm on a list somewhere.
Yeah, we'll be put on a list.
Freedom of Information Act requests and things like that, and I'm sure people are like, oh, we need to watch this guy.
Yeah, we'll be put on the
But I've
list.
told the government a million times, I'm not against anything. I just want to find the truth where I can kind of tell people what you're thinking is stupid. Don't think like that.
At the end of the day,
We
it's
just
free
wanna-
speech,
We
so
just
don't worry
want to
about it.
know, like, what's going on, really.
Yeah,
That's it.
And
Come
I
on.
really don't want to know to the extent where I need to be killed. If we're getting too deep, just tell us, and that's fine. We would be happy to not be murdered.
yeah.
But, you know,
If you want us to stop, just say so and we'll stop.
But then on the other hand, if you need to hire us, I would be happy to assassinate anybody for the right amount of money as long as I was protected.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
So, I mean,
Hey,
whatever they need to do.
Whatever,
as long as
whatever
long as I got a gun, and I knew
Right.
that I would not get in any sort of trouble for it, I will kill anyone for free.
Yeah.
As long
And
as
here's
well,
another thing,
certain people
you
I would
can't
kill
really
for free.
apply for the Men in Black or some of these secret organizations with a job application. So maybe if you let me know how to do that, I'd be happy to join them.
Conspiracies.
That's right.
That's what I think. I might do that voice at the start of our shows. Welcome to
And
Boleyn
we
Paranormal
need-
Conspiracies. Like
Yeah, and we need some kind of, like the sound of a heavy stamp, like a boom.
Do you know, it's
kinda
funny.
like a
I
hard
was just
copy type
saying
sound.
to Helena earlier, when I start re-editing these shows, because after we record, I go through them, double check the levels and stuff. I might start putting in sound effects. Like
Yeah, that'd be cool.
when we introduce our guests, I might put like a round of applause in just for a laugh.
That'd be
And
great.
if I don't like the guest, I might just do one person sarcastic clapping.
Like, yeah, like a slow clap.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Sorry, I'm coughing. I got. Sorry. Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
we're going to be getting into a lot of...
If there's any
Messed up
conspiracies
stuff.
out there that you guys want us to talk about, like is Elvis really dead? Did he die in the 70s? 9/11, whose fault was it? I'm trying to think of some other conspiracies. What's it called?
JFK,
Oh yeah, did the CIA kill JFK?
yeah, there's, or the Mafia. Did the Mafia kill him? Did the CIA kill him?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. Then the JFK spawned so many others. Lee Harvey Oswald and Jack Ruby.
Did
I mean,
JFK
it
have
goes
a
on for days.
Did JFK have a baby with Marilyn Monroe? Isn't that one?
Yeah.
I believe it is. And then did the government kill Marilyn Monroe? And did the government kill Robert F. Kennedy?
Yeah, there's
I mean,
lots
they
there's lots of
go on for
conspiracies
days.
out there, guys. And so yeah, just let us know, like chemtrails.
I love chemtrails.
Another one.
That's a conspiracy I'm all over.
Trying to think.
Is
War
It's
conspiracies.
not a conspiracy because I will reckon chemtrails are happening.
UFO conspiracies.
Chemtrails. The chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
Which there is some truth to that, and we'll get into that when we get to that area.
I
But-
will
but,
reckon
you know.
chemtrails are happening. I actually do.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's madness. But yeah, there's so many. This is why this is a monthly thing. Because there's so many we're going through. We might
Yeah,
get
so-
shot.
Yeah, this be a fun one.
I'm gonna be walking down the street and there's like these two guys in black suits driving a black car and following me. Like, and then they sort of drive towards me, and then look at me, and then drive off to freak me out. I can see
Yeah,
that.
well,
I can
maybe
see that
just
happening.
switch to something else then.
Yeah,
please understand, powers that be, that we're easily influenced.
Yeah, I tell you what, give us money and we'll shut up.
That's right. Give us a little money.
My opening bid to shut me up is $500,000, and I won't say anything about these conspiracies anymore.
Yeah.
But I will settle for $500.
$500,000 per conspiracy.
Yeah.
There you go.
If it's per conspiracy, I will settle for $100.
No, $500,000.
I am a cheap slut. I will settle for
Yes,
anything.
I am very cheaply bought.
I will $500,000, and I will stop talking.
I will give you 10.
What pay?
$10. $10.
I will give you £1.
Sorry for that weird accent just then. I shouldn't do that. So
I'm really looking forward to these shows.
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. We're probably going to get in a lot of trouble at some
That's
point.
okay.
Let's check in with the studio audience. What do you guys think?
Yeah, woo, it's great.
Yeah.
See, our one fan over there thought it was amazing.
We just had one person with a slow clap.
Yeah. Thank you, Damien,
Who the hell's Damien?
our fan over there, sitting in the corner.
Ryan's our one and only fan.
But yeah, I mean, this is just a gentle introduction into what our conspiracy show is going to be like. We sort of ease you in with the Mandela Effect.
Enjoy it, because it's going to ruin your heads.
We'll let that by next month. Hopefully, you would have got over that, and then we can talk about a different conspiracy. Which
Yeah,
conspiracy?
we'll
I don't know.
figure out a
Tune in
good
to find
one.
out.
Definitely.
But yeah, our hour is up nearly.
Yeah, that went quick.
But yeah, we'll announce the one for next month soon, and we'll have to figure out something interesting, because it'll be a very complex one, because we'll have the presidential stuff over here be done, and then Christmas will be coming up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this will be online after the election, so whoever won, congratulations. Don't screw up the country too much. And Jeff, I forgot to ask something. How's Nick?
Oh, he's let me think. What is today? Monday. He's probably still in a haunted place right now. No, when you all hear this, he'll be out.
Sorry, I'm only joking. I was just doing that to wind you up.
I love it.
Just every time we talk to him, how's Nick?
Maybe that's how we end every show.
Yeah. Nick, here's our Nick report.
Here's our Nick report.
What's Nick doing? He's on the toilet. Great. Next.
Oh, good
Next.
job.
The Nick Groff report.
What's Nick doing today? He's having his hair cut. Amazing. Awesome.
Do you know, I'd love to get him on a show to talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Tell Nick to look at the Mandela Effect, see if it fucks his head up.
Oh, he is so far into all that weird stuff that I'll have to bring it up, and just to watch his mind crumble.
That's all I want to see. I just want to see him lose
But
his mind.
every month we'll have the Nick Groff report, and we'll just like
Be like, what did he think of this? Did he lose his mind?
Did he cry over it? Yeah, we did. Our job is done.
Oh, door slamming.
Yeah, that's my small child talking
Okay.
Oh boy.
outside.
Alright, it's
been lovely
it's been a
talking
great
to you
show,
again, Jeff.
Honestly,
And we will
Lovely
do
talking
this
to you.
again next month. So
I
I'll
can't
start looking
wait
into
till our
some
next
good ones.
conspiracy. I can't wait to screw up the minds of people.
Yeah, but
The only
God
reason
bless
we're doing
everybody
it.
for
Seriously.
listening to the Mandela Effect, because it's going to hurt your mind.
Don't research the Mandela Effect too much because you will not sleep at night.
Research it.
You will think about it. This will keep you awake.
Research
But
it.
it's been fun, guys.
It has, it definitely has. And you take care, Jeff, and we'll speak to you next time.
Okay, talk to you all
See
then.
you later, Jeff.
We'll
Love
speak.
you.
We'll speak
Alright.
to you before the next show, but you
Oh,
know, just,
of course we will.
just for the people that are listening, you know, we'll see you
Alright,
next time.
enough. See you later,
But
honey.
yeah, we will talk soon for sure.
Definitely. Bye.
Take care, man.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Keep safe and sleep tight.